Well, hi there. Welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And it's that time of year where, as the temperatures gradually get a little cooler,
By the way, I am so glad that they're cooling off.
For fall?
You know,
Yeah.
I woke up this morning, I was like, fall's really finally here a little bit.
There's hope in the air.
There's hope in the air. It's not so hot. My AC was running for 3 or 4 months straight, almost. I mean, it was crazy.
So some parts of the country, it's already been well into fall, and we're, in the hotter part, so we're finally getting a taste of it. But wherever you are, it's that time where there's more accessories, there's more things, layers, jackets, umbrellas, backpacks, you name it. And, one of my pet peeves is when I come home and I walk into the front door and you go into whatever that dumping zone area is. For us, we have this counter in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And, you have your keys, your phone charger, your this, your that, your jacket, you got a purse, your laptop holder, and then it starts to feel like it's your garage. And so why not come up with some neat little things you can do to keep your fall organized?
Absolutely. And, in my case, it's backpacks and, sports bags and 53 coats and 27 naps. It's crazy. I actually think one of the greatest things I've ever built, and I've built a lot of things, but one of the best things I ever built was a coat rack that attaches to the wall.
That's the one you have by your front door?
That's the one I have by my front.
And you built that?
And I built it. It's very simple. Anybody can do it. And it's basically just a piece of 1x6 pine, like shelving stock. And you can put a little shelf to make a right angle on the top, so you're fastening the top to the back. And then it kind of creates a little triangle, right? And then you put a couple little triangular supports on either end. And then inside of that, let's say the thing's about 4 feet long. Maybe put, however many people are in your family, so everybody gets a hook. You put the hooks onto that, and then you literally just screw it right into the studs or the drywall with wall anchors. And I made it maybe 10 years ago, and the thing is constantly in use, and it's been one of the better organizing solutions in my entire home for that thing that you talk about, the front door.
Yeah, the drop-off zone.
The drain, if you will. The place where everything kind of just gets thrown.
And you have like a little place for shoes and backpacks and jackets.
Yep, and then if there's a shelf on top for hats when it gets colder. So, it's like a little mini mud room. People who have big, beautiful mansions always design a mud room, which clearly I don't have, but some I hear do. But those are great. It's almost like a locker room for the kids to come and put their stuff.
And what kind of hooks did you use?
I just use the regular, hooks that have one long prong in the center and then 2 little ones below.
Oh, okay.
So it's almost like 3 prongs coming out, right?
Nice. So you can stack.
You can get them at any hardware store, big box store, and they're like $1 each,
Perfect.
Screw them into the wood, done. I
Perfect.
love it. Yeah, it works great.
Is that as good or better than these double ceiling hooks that sometimes you can put underneath the wood?
Those are great too, because especially if you have like backpacks or purses or anything like that, you could actually do a combination of both. The hooks come out of the front and then the little top shelf underneath. You could have those hooks that spread out on either side, and then you can hang even more stuff. Yeah.
But all that combined, and then you can, like you said, you want to have a mud room. This is your feeling of having a mud room.
Yeah.
What about having little baskets or little, containers with even like magnets or labeling on each one, and they all match, and they could slide underneath.
Great idea. And, you can put each kid or family member's picture in the front, right? So like, Donnie,
cute.
Here's your sliding area. You can put your shoes here, Listen, if I hear this, it won't ever be too soon when I stop hearing the expression, "Did you find your shoes?" This is all I do, is I look for Aaron's shoes that have disappeared somewhere in the hole that is my home. Like, if little Donnie or Bobby or Billy, whoever your kid is, can learn to put their shoes in the basket, huge thing.
They're always there. They're not going to miss it for the tournament.
There you go.
Hello.
Exactly.
And what about all of us that kind of misplace our remote control, right?
Oh, God, don't get me started.
For us, we have, and a lot of people I know have found this. You can get these at the arts and crafts stores. They're basic, or you can make them.
Yeah.
But I ended up just taking the easy way out and bought this faux book.
That's a great idea.
That has the lid that pops up,
Yep.
and ours, it just looks like it has the Eiffel Tower on it. It's just kind of a fun little artsy thing. But they have all different kinds, and the lid pops up, and it's lined inside, and we put our 3 clickers in there.
That's a great idea. And by the way, speaking of clickers, do you know that my kids have removed the back of the remotes to get batteries to put into other devices and then lost the backs of the remotes?
Perfect.
So I have to actually tape,
duct tape or something.
duct tape in the batteries, because then they keep falling out and you can't figure out why the remote doesn't work. But you have to hold like your ring finger when you're holding the remote up into the remote to push the batteries in the right way to get the
to engage
it like that
constantly.
And I have no remotes that have backs on them.
Well, maybe you could buy a new universal.
I tried to do that, and it's so expensive. It doesn't make sense.
Well, I know
right?
what I'm getting you for Christmas
Thank
then.
you. If you do, I'd love it. Maybe, how about I just move in here with you guys?
How about getting a basket of slippers? Now, I know this might sound kind of frou-frou or silly, but if you had, a spare basket, or even get a new basket and put like either some heavy socks, like those fuzzy socks
Great
that are
idea.
good for gals and guys, and maybe different kinds of slippers, or even flip-flops, and it's kind of a nice little thing that you put off to the side of your entryway to welcome people to take off their wet boots and things and
That's
put on
very nice.
something warm and fuzzy.
It's nice to not, walk in the house with shoes if you have new carpeting or beautiful hardwood floors. That's a great thing. Like, hey, everybody, here's the sign. Take your shoes off, and here's some comfy shoes if you don't feel comfortable in your socks. What's the matter with that?
Nothing.
I love it.
Now, to the garden, I just got some bulbs, by the way. We were talking past couple weeks about how this is the time to get bulbs. When you go to the hardware store, the garden centers, you'll see them now. There's big baskets of tulips and hyacinth and all different kinds. So grab them, because now this is a good time to put them in a container in the soil, and they'll reward you in the spring. But also, you might want to be thinking of some seeds, different kind of planting seeds, whether it's flowers or edibles or whatever, and to make sure that they wake up refreshed from their long winter nap. You just get like a nice, I don't know, some kind of a mason jar or any kind of a spare mayonnaise jar, and just put them in there, and it looks pretty off to the side, and
Love
you're
it.
storing for fall.
Yeah, the packages are beautiful. Just to see
They're really pretty.
They always have flowers on the front.
Yeah.
Great idea.
And don't forget, for a boot organizer, I love this whole idea, is that you replace the knobs on the cedar boot trees with large cup hooks.
Oh, that's great.
And then you screw that into the tops, and then the trees and the boots then hang from kind of like a cafe curtain rod inside your closet if you have a lot of boots. Anyway, some ideas to get organized for fall. We have some more fun things to talk about. As always, here on Home Wizards, keep it here. Eric Stormer, Cindy Dole. You're listening to Home Wizards. Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
And we're kind of getting you ready for fall in terms of this is a good time to just kind of organize certain areas around your place so that as the season changes, you can handle the extra boots and jackets and supplies and and leaves and things, right?
It's a smooth transition into winter too, yeah.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
And you were saying how you have that lifesaver of a nice little nook right by your front door.
That front door nook has saved me time and time again. As a matter of fact, I just pulled, 3 backpacks and some lunch pails and, coats and sweaters and all sorts of stuff off of there today before school.
That
really
great?
helps me, yeah.
It really keeps you organized, and it takes some of the stress out, right?
And it's also pretty simple to say to the kids, when you come in the house, put the backpack up on the hook.
This is the system.
I find that the sing-song nature of my voice replicates the ideal I wish I could say to them, when really it's just me yelling.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
What about the magnetic hall organizer? You talk about lunch boxes. Metal boxes can really give you a stylish way to organize that front hall or mudroom wannabe, like using magazine hooks, as the perfect perch for like raincoats and scarves and all kinds of those supplies, right?
Right. And the more specific sometimes the better too. If you do have an umbrella and you do have scarves and bags that you're always going to, and even now with these grocery bags here in California, we have to, bring our own bags to all the grocery stores. So that's always a thing I find that I forget often unless I have them hanging there to remind me as I'm leaving, don't forget the bag. Otherwise you have to pay money to get a bag.
And you kick yourself for that.
And because I'm so cheap,
you're not going to do it.
You know what I do?
Oh, I put it in the
cart and then
throw it in the
seat.
Exactly. That's what I do.
Carried stuff in one at a time.
Oh, I know, because otherwise you're mad at yourself because you didn't get the bag.
Instead of having the bag, I spend 13 hours unloading groceries that would normally take me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Or what I do is I did the same thing. I take it in the cart to the car, throw it in the back seat, then get the bag that I was to have taken to the grocery store in my house to my car.
There you go.
And I run shifts.
the shuttle bag basically is what it is, right?
But in this magnetic hall organizer, I mean, really, you can inexpensively get some of these metallic boxes, mailboxes, basically, and they look really chic and cool.
Yeah, they really do. It kind of gives you, you can also do sort of cubby versions of it too, which work well. You can mount a metal mailbox sideways on a wall.
Oh, that's neat.
And that can be a great place sort of for interior bill storage when you've come from outside with the mail in, or maybe outgoing mail in the house. Just have a little cubby to put the stuff in as you're about ready to take it back to the box.
Which also helps you because now you're not going to miss certain things that need to go in or out on time, but you aren't getting that mound of stuff that's right there in that dumping ground.
It's all about removing the mound.
Removing the mound. Yeah. How about also, just to kind of one of those things to check off your list is to make almost like a map of your power and your wiring, so that when you have basically a diagram of all of your inner workings of your home.
It's a great idea. Everything from, the fuses to the breaker box to power sources to what switches do specifically. I find that to be, I've been in the house I'm in now for almost 10 years, and I still have a couple of switches where I kind of go, wait a minute, is this the one that turns on the outside light, or is it I still do that.
Yeah,
even though
me too.
I've been doing this for years and years and years. So, sometimes a diagram's helpful just to have everything sort of almost as if you were presenting it to someone who's going to house it. Just have a master diagram of what all the wiring and the remote codes and the pass codes and the what switches do what. Just have sort of a master template.
And it could almost be like you're sketching out, because this could help you in many levels. You could use the same sketch to plan out your dream paint colors and your dream decoration changes.
Sure.
And you could just make copies of it. But the idea is you just make squares of every room, the layout of your house, and label it kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, whatever.
That's exactly right.
And then color code, for where the kitchen is, let's say that's all yellow to the side. Then now, for this purpose, for your power and wire, you're labeling what those things are.
That's
kitchen.
Exactly right. Yeah.
But then you could save that before you did that label. You save this sketch out, and now you can use this for my dream paint color for kitchen.
Yes,
or,
this wall would be this.
Yeah.
You could even tape the paint chips to the back of the paper. It's a lot of good stuff to do, and if you have time to do it and organize it, it makes a huge difference in your life. Give it a shot.
Now, I know you love your leaf blower.
Oh,
it's kind of like
I have two.
It's like your astronaut.
I have a
toy.
I have a handheld battery-powered leaf blower that I love and adore, which is sort of my go-to. Quickly, I'm going to do this now.
And then there's a backpack.
Then I've got the one that I can actually wear and blow and propel myself on a skateboard. That's how powerful it is.
That's pretty funny.
It's unbelievable.
The next thing we're going to see you airborne.
I'm going to be like
thing.
that. Remember Mr. Clean,
yes.
the guy who would come in a jetpack?
Yes.
It kind of is like that. I wear the headphones, and I've got, the ability, I crank it, I put it on, I just
you're
walk
a superhero.
around. I start doing the neighbor's yard. I love it so much, right?
Well, as we're getting ready for that fall cleanup of leaves, I mean, you might want to even have some added tools and things for those chores in addition to your leaf blower.
Sure.
Let's say maybe you get one of those little carpenter nail pouches, and you kind of connect that to the handles of a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You span it between the two handles, slide it up right next to the wheelbarrow area.
And it looks cute.
It looks great, and that you can also have your gardening tools, your weeder, your digging tools, all the things you use to plant bulbs, for example.
Perfect.
Just everything you need to kind of keep, everything in one spot. That's the thing. For years and years as a general contractor, the thing that I think was the biggest mistake of my life was not having a very well organized central location for everything as it pertains to the tools, because I can promise you that we all do this. You spend hours of time over a couple of months looking for the tape measure or where's the wire, or you buy repeat of things.
Always.
I actually have 30 pair of wire cutters because I was trying to fly so fast through these jobs, to make sure I got everything done.
It's easier just to get a new one.
You know what? Just buy another pair of wire cutters. And then, it's Thursday, you find 14 of them under your seat of your truck, right? If you've got a central location, whether it be gardening or, any kind of tool stuff that you're doing, just have a place where it's always at least a rudimentary set of tools that you can always access and find. It's going to save you a ton of time.
And it's so inexpensive to get one of these little pouches, that you can get at the hardware store. I love how it also looks, it feels like fall, just to kind of have that sitting there by your wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it's cute.
It almost becomes, even though it's part of your weekend chore, it becomes like a little cozy decorating.
And you
piece.
know what else? It's a great idea for kids' art supplies.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my daughter's constantly looking for, I think she's inherited the old man's problem, where she's like, where's my pen? I can't find any of my colored pens. The one's from Germany. You know, so the same holds true for art supplies. You know, a pouch in the area that you
Yeah.
can tie in a knot and then hang from
I'm
one
buying
of the
pouches
doors.
for every room.
I'm gonna be like a kangaroo. I'm just gonna carry stuff around everywhere.
I mean, those pouches are probably
Wait till you see my son one where I've got, you know, the tanning lotions and sprays.
Oh, love it.
It actually replaces the Speedo.
God.
There's no back to it.
Oh, okay.
But that's just like I'm in Brazil.
Okay,
So it's going to be
special
fine.
beaches. Okay.
Special beaches.
How about storing those terracotta pots?
Yes.
Because I'll just say I have a collection of terracotta pots.
You do? I know
Because I
this.
love my container gardening.
Don't
and
blame you.
might have some extras sitting around. And, you know, the idea is whenever you have a pot that's just waiting for another plant to put in it, remember that can be a breeding ground for different diseases, because bugs lay eggs and
Sure.
and there's fungus and things
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
So you want to always first thoroughly clean, even with a little bit of bleach, and dry out these pots to prevent future problems.
See, that's a really good point, and I think most gardeners may not think about this. When you have a plant that falls prey to disease,
it died in your pot.
and then you plant again in that same pot,
Right.
probably all that stuff is still living in the pot.
Right.
You definitely have to disinfect them.
Yeah. And then what you want to do is a good way to keep them free from disease and things after you have cleaned them off is to lie them on their sides, tucked inside.
so that they're not creating moisture, or you don't have it capped upside down where it traps all the moisture.
Right, when the rain comes or snow or whatever. And
Sure.
so if you could get like maybe even a shallow wooden crate, this would be handy to kind of put it maybe in an area that's out from the open air, kind of tucked under, maybe there's an awning or something, or
Right.
maybe in the garage. You don't want to stack them vertically because, again, the change in the temperature, the humidity is going to make them swell
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
and it'll cause them to stick to each other, and then that's going to guarantee they're going to break. So this is just a neat way to kind
Great
of keep
idea.
them
That's an
stored.
experienced gardener talking
Yeah.
right there. That's good. I like that one.
What about ribbon storage racks? Because holidays are coming and we need to get our ribbon out of the way.
You know, I have a closet that holds wrapping paper cylinders
Really?
in a pile that is like hell on earth.
Oh, it is.
Well,
okay.
yeah, because I
okay.
mean, it's not effective at all. It's
Okay.
just me throwing a bunch of wrapping paper in the corner. Let's talk about it when we come back. It's a great idea.
It's basically a lumber yard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great thing to do. Anyway,
Storage.
more great ideas to help you be organized for the fall. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole. You're listening to Home Wizards. Be sure to check us out, by the way, on Facebook, Facebook.com/Home Wizards.
Take a little walk to the edge of town.
And welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we're getting you ready for fall in terms of just little things you can do to be more organized. And Eric was just sharing before we went to the break about his
My bad wrapping paper
your wrapping
station.
closet. So paint a picture for us. What's happening
So,
with this?
7 years of holiday wrapping cylinders where you use half the roll.
And this is in a hall
This is
closet?
my hall
Is it
closet,
just
and then we throw them in a paper bag,
Okay.
and they're in the corner. But then the kids use them, and they put other stuff in the closet, and the paper gets all wrinkled and creased, and it just is not efficient. Then maybe there's some ribbon on the bottom of the bag, but it's all ratty. It's chaos. So what can we do to do a more organized version of this?
So for the ribbon storage racks, I mean, the idea is you can keep your ribbons organized by building storage racks from these copper gutters. And you're
Oh,
a
that's
gutter,
cool.
you're a
Oh,
gutter
wow.
guy.
That's a great idea.
How pretty is that?
Copper gutters are gorgeous.
Now all of a sudden you're like in this whole other.
Oh,
you're like it's like
no.
football.
Oh
gutters.
no! I gotta
I've
get
lost
the
him.
gutters. Boy.
So I mean, how
Well,
inexpensive are these?
Well, copper gutters are not inexpensive.
They're
but
not inexpensive.
But for the amount that you would need, you could probably get away with a run of 2.5 feet and probably do all your ribbon.
And do they cut it to size, or how does this work?
They cut it to size, and then they have end caps that you just place on there, and then you just could screw them right into either drywall by drilling a hole in the back of the gutters, and then marking those holes and holding it level, and then taking the gutter away, drilling in those wall anchors, and then come back and put your screws through the gutter into the wall anchors. Or if you're lucky enough to hit studs, you can go right into the studs. But that's a great idea because then they're sitting slightly angled. It's the exact right size to hold the
little wheels.
the little wheels of ribbon, and then they can stream out of the front of it.
With a little lip, it just kind of
and then the light
over.
hits the copper, and you got your whole little
Beautiful.
you look. What do you? That's
See,
fancy. That's uptown.
Now it becomes, and this could be either on a door, like as you open the door, right, the inside of the door, or on a wall. But now it becomes a wrapping station. It's not just storage.
And if it's copper gutters, I'm putting it front and center in the living room. That's gorgeous. Kidding
That's
me?
not your main
I'm not going to
decorating.
waste the copper on closets.
But how much would these cost us? I think really.
I would say they're probably $6-7 a foot, something
That's
like
not
that.
so bad.
Not so bad. If you're doing a house, it's another story.
Oh yeah.
But a short run is not that. It's not bad. It's probably the same price as some organizational solution that you
Sure.
buy at a container
And
store.
they
or
don't
something.
have copper.
They're
I
not
bet.
copper. It's
plastic.
crappy plastic.
So I think this is great. So while you're thinking of doing something to get ready for the holidays, and you have a bunch of ribbon, and you want to get the mess up and off the floor, here's your way.
That's the kind of house you walk into and somebody's got the copper ribbon holders. They're playing Bing Crosby and it smells like potpourri.
See?
That's the kind of house I'm talking about.
Makes you feel like I'm at home. Like
That ain't my
glass.
house.
That's
It
not
could be
my
when the kids leave, but not now.
All right, how about those bulbs? So I hope you have been thinking about getting some bulbs. I can't wait I'm going to play with tulip bulbs this weekend.
Yeah, see, I
And-
love too what you're doing. You're packing them all close together, so you get that big burst of vibrant color in one condensed area. That's gorgeous.
You just they basically are going to be hugging each other in this container.
Yeah.
I got at least like 15 or 20 of them, But let's say that you're buying some bulbs and you're not ready yet to do your project. Or let's say you had some bulbs in your yard and you dug them up and now you just want to store them for the winter. To make sure that you're going to replant them in the right place come in the spring. All you do is you just take a Sharpie and you write what it is.
See, that's
on the
genius.
bulb.
You never think of that, but how else would you know what kind of bulb it is unless you write on it, or you're a botanist or a plant specialist?
You could get labels and go that route, but this is really simple. It's like right on there, done. Right?
I love that.
And
Good idea.
you could even write on it what the bulb is and that this was front yard or this was side yard, and then you could
Very
store
smart.
it in some newspaper. In fact, in a cool dark place.
Yeah, and the bulbs, man, that's the gift that shows tomorrow. It's a great idea. People often overlook them, but man, they're pretty when they show up in the spring, aren't they?
What about a wall shed? If you don't have a shed,
Well, here's the beauty about a wall shed. Now, this is simple, because all you need to do is take your existing garage framing, and if you don't have a finished garage, you're in luck. This is a good thing, because then all your tools can go in the bay between the 2x4 framing.
it's like a little nook and cranny.
It's a little nook and cranny, and then all you have to do is put a piece of, like a bungee cord on the top and the bottom, say a foot off the ground, and then 4 feet off the ground. A nail on either side parallel, and then a foot off the ground, a nail, and then stretch your bungee cord across the 16-inch bay, and you can store trim, brooms, shovels, anything that traditionally is piled in a corner that's chaotic. Each single bay can become an organizational solution unto itself. You can even hang hosing off of one of them. The sky's the limit. I love it.
I think what I would want to do is to first paint. If let's say that area was unfinished, like in our old garage, it didn't look very good. It didn't have that clean, nice, tidy look. And I think I'd be more inspired to keep things in order if that little shelf unit itself, if that back rod kind of made me feel like it was fresh. It was all white or something.
Well, the good news about painting something like that, where you don't have to be that careful if it's all one color, you can rent a paint sprayer, and you could shoot the entire interior of the garage, a coat of primer and maybe 2 coats of finish paint in an afternoon. You'd be good to go.
Love it.
Yeah, that's beautiful, and that's the best $60 or $70 in a rental you've ever spent. And paint spraying is a lot of fun. Just make sure you wear a mask and understand that you're going to probably be completely covered in paint unless you wear gloves and a long sleeve shirt and even a painter's hood. And nobody looks sexier than when they're wearing a painter's hood. No.
It could be a Halloween costume, too.
It could actually be a Halloween costume.
What about, too, this is something that is just more kind of feeding the soul,
Yeah.
having your own autumn snack jar. this is going to be something that, you make on the weekend, and it's going to get you through the fall, and it's a nice mix of, you could buy store-bought versions of this, the trail mixes that you see in the different stores, but it's kind of fun to make your own version with, let's say, pumpkin seeds, and crunchy almonds and cranberries and maybe coconut or whatever, and you put it in the jar, and you can maybe make several of them.
Well, see, now here's why I don't like the store-bought trail mix, because I don't necessarily want the chocolate, and I don't want an abundance of raisins. Sure, they're nature's candy.
Too much sweetness.
Enough of the raisins already. Too
Enough.
many.
So you like to make it your
More
way.
nuts, custom make it, buy yourself one of those big mason jars. How about that as a great gift for the holidays? If
Perfect.
somebody brought homemade trail mix.
A nice
kidding me?
hostess gift, too, between now and the upcoming, Thanksgiving.
You bring that to my house, you're coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could make several of them. This would be a great project for the family, and you just load up and buy, big batches of these different nuts and things you love.
Yeah.
And then label it, and it's your...
Eric and Cindy's Christmas mix,
I love...
right?
Christmas.
Coconut. I would do coconut, raw cashews, almonds, pecans, and then maybe a tiny bit of some kind of a dried fruit, just a
Okay.
little.
But
That's
you
all.
don't want too
even that
sweet.
dried ginger would be good. Oh,
Ooh.
talk about sexy.
Or the mango, maybe.
Get out of here, mango.
Okay.
I love mango.
How about a little organization for your fireplace?
Yeah.
Just kind of to get your kindling looking nice and sleek, using a glazed terracotta pot or some other heat-resistant vessel.
Yep.
And now this is the place where you kind of keep all of your split logs and any other enhancements for your fireplace, like dried lavender or pine cones, things like that.
Pine cones are amazing fire starters. If you have them on your lawn, you're lucky. You gather them up. Don't let the gardener or don't you throw those things away. Keep them in a jar like we're talking about here, because not only are they beautiful, but they burn like crazy.
And they're great fall decor just on your table.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Well,
They look good.
you guys have the
I got
pine
the
cones.
monster
They're on
ones.
steroids.
They're 5,000 feet in diameter.
They're
these
almost like
things.
dinosaur
They're
eggs.
like dinosaur eggs.
They're like ridiculous.
I put those in a fire pit once when I first bought my house, and flames shot up to the sky like
didn't
some
know.
sort of a volcano.
They have some kind of
They've got
monster
magic power.
juice.
Yeah, they do.
or something in there.
Yeah.
Well, some other things you can do. Speaking of outside, this is a good time to start thinking about cleaning and storing your patio furniture, and children's summer toys, right? And maybe checking for, maybe you want to wash your exterior windows one last time.
Ooh, and I'll tell you, if you haven't used the professional window washing kit, this is your time.
What says?
Couple of squeegees, different sizes, right? You get the 3-incher, you get the 5 or 6-incher, and then you get the big mama for the big picture windows. And then it's literally a handle with that's a same shape as a squeegee, with a foam brush on it. You use your window solution. It can even just be white vinegar and water. You
Or,
can use vodka.
I knew you were
That's
gonna
my
say
favorite
that.
thing to clean windows with, because Daddy's taking a nip of the old window washing fluid again.
No.
When you use that stuff, boy, it dries no streaks. But you just scrub it with that brush. Take your squeegee, bam, bam, 2 times. You get the move. Sometimes if you watch these guys and gals doing it in the big industrial buildings, you get the technique pretty quickly. Easy to do, efficient way to clean windows.
It's almost artistic too.
It's beautiful.
It's kind of a cool, relaxing method.
No
question. Window washing. It's
yeah.
therapeutic.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, when we come back, we have some more fun ideas for you. You're listening to Home Wizards. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dolan. Check us out at yourhomewizards.com.